Hey, how's everyone going? Okay, so this is part two of the first doorway for 2021 in January, and I have actually moved on a little bit, and I will show you what I've done. Remember, I stuck the wooden lotus at the top of my doorway. Well, I've actually decided to make this first doorway kind of simple, kind of easy. I've had one of these, I've colored it black. I've used a split pin on it, and that's what the doorway is going to be, and a piece of the catch, I should say, not the doorway, the catch for it. This is about 7 inches long, which is like 17 centimeters or something, I think I started at. This piece of cord, which is just a 10 mil piece of cord, and it's just, I've reinforced it with a bit of washi, and it just goes round the wooden mandala and seals it nicely just by having one time round. Okay, the other thing that I have to do, there's quite a few bits before we get to the words that I want to put inside the actual doorway. I need you to get something and push down quite firmly and make the doors open really nicely. And this can be anything, just nice and like that. Now on this doorway, as I said, I made this catch, which is really simple. I have also made some washi tape and cardboard. So these are just cardboard catches made from plain old pieces of a little bit thicker cardboard and cut into different shapes that I can play with along the way on other ones. And that's pretty simple. And the washi tape that I used. Okay. Now what we're going to do next is, am I in the center? Yes. So what we're going to do next is, we actually need to do, a couple of things came up for me. I need to cover this, and that's why I wanted to do these first, because I want to actually glue a cover. So I went through my green jelly plates that have previously been printed, and I found this beautiful gold, black and green print. So I'm actually going to glue that on to the inside of the doorways. I will do that off camera though. I mean, you don't really need to see me gluing. So that's my inside of my doorway. And the other thing was, this is way too white for me. So you know how I brayer off when I'm jelly printing. I just brayer onto an old book. And I was just going through some pages, and I really like this page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue that down behind the door. So that will be behind the door, and then the words that we come up with that are going to be put inside the doorway for towards February, the next month, are going to be in there. So we'll get onto that soon. So that's going to be like that over the top, and that's going to be glued. So when I come back, that's where it will be at. Okay, see you soon. Okay, so I'm back. Now I just thought I'd run through, because I made that a bit quick. I was just going to make sure that this is what they look like before I put black ink on them. And the little split pins that I used, they're just, I don't know that I showed them to you. I have a couple of different sizes. These are the tiny little ones that are 0.8 mil, I think. And then I have larger ones that I've used on other books. So that's all I've done there. And then when I put that back on, I've glued down that pin too with a bit of glue. And the same over here, except this side I've actually glued down, but I've also put some washi tape to make it a little bit firmer in there. All right, so that's the doorway inside done, and I've also glued the backing paper on. So now I'm going to glue down the whole of the back onto the next page. and I will just do that and then come back. So I'm just going around. Well, actually I'll just do it. It's not going to take 2 seconds. So I'm just going to put glue down here. Goes in about to there, goes in up there to about there, and it goes into about there. And all the edges, make sure it's well glued, then flip it over and line it up. And I'll leave this overnight, and then in the morning I will come out and we will do our inspirational words that I've want to take you through. And then it will, in the next step, we just need some sort of brown paper and some pens, and at this point I'm going to do the final touches and also the words of inspiration, I think, that we're going to use inside this particular doorway going on to February, because this is the end of January's one. But there is a couple of other things I'm going to do, and also get some pen and ink and so forth, and I shall be back. Okay, so I've come back out, and this is all dried. I decided that it was lacking a little bit of interest in this very ancient door that I'm creating before I name it, because that is one of the things I've decided that we should do, is actually we should name it. Name and title your door, whether you write the title on it inside, outside, in the corner, or wherever. Naming it. Mine is called Gambira, and I will explain why mine is called Gambira in a second. I'm getting ahead of myself. So I want to finish this front door. It's just lacking. I came out and I decided it needed, you know, a little bit more down here and maybe a little bit more up the top. So I made some frottage pieces, and I will show you how to do those. So I think like a little bit of gold up there, one of these pieces that is along there, and that down there, just to add that little bit more interest. I'm thinking, I'm not too sure, could be, or maybe it's this one of these pieces. Anyway, I want to show you how to make the frottage, and it's made from a stamp. Obviously you can have wooden stamp, you can have any stamps that you can use. A lot of frottage normally, which is rubbings, and I think I've shown, there's a video out there of how to make frottage. I used it on my script work. This is a little different. I'm just using it on a stamp and getting a perfect lift, and this is just gold wax crayon. So you get this beautiful instantaneous print. So I suppose if you don't have inks, you could frottage, you know, with your stamps. It's not probably as exact science, they're lining it up to make a strip of them to use on borders and things, but I love it. It's very instantaneous and easy to do, you know. Now also, of course, you can use the gold. You can use any colour you like that you're working with, but you can also use it, which is the normal, I will do it on here, which is the graphite, which is hiding from me. So the graphite is just like so, and the same deal, you just move it down. And now of course these have to be, so I didn't move that down too exact, did I? These have to be sealed though, because obviously they're they'll rub off, you know. So that's frottage, and I want to use actually I think this one, so this one was done on brown paper, but exactly the same way, and it was sealed. And how I sealed them, and I will show you quickly, it's just on my baby traveling jelly plate that I have in my box, and my baby brayer. But no, this is not definitely. So this is just matte medium, Holcroft. This one is in Australia, but it's any matte medium, gel matte medium, and that's how I just rub it onto the jelly plate, and then pull off just like I did on the scripts. And I will just finish this one because I don't think I did it earlier, one I presented earlier, and this one I'm not too sure that I finished that one either. Okay, so sometimes they pick up you know, other pieces of paint and stuff while you're doing it, but that's okay, because I like those added bits added in. So that's actually all that is. That's a very simple, quick thing to do. So that is the frottage, and as you know, so there it has picked up a little bit of gold paint and black and so forth, but perfect. And they do go a little bit darker after you've rubbed the matte medium on them. Okay, so I'm just going to glue this down, I think, cut it to its exact spot where I want it on here, which is there. And I just want that end taken off, I think. Just going to rip that down. Okay, just going to glue those on. That's just a little bit long. Hinges there, so there. Now you could just draw them in like that, or you could put, you know, another colored paper in there and make them all fancy from even the stamp. You know, if you could just make it that little bit there and cut the corners off and put those on and use that as the hinge. But for this starting one, I am trying to keep it pretty simple. I do want to get a permanent pen, I think, and a ruler, and I want to write a line that bottom section from the top. Okay, now I think I'm just going to put a little bit of the gold one up here at the top. Maybe, or the brown. I haven't really decided which yet, but and brown. Oh, maybe it's dark. Yes, okay. think I want it about that long, but I only want it a little narrower, and I am going to cut this. I'm going to cut the end. I'm going to cut that down. That way or that way? Which looks better? Nope, that way looks better. Alright, I'm going to glue that down and then I'll be back. Alright, now look, I could still play with this door and, you know, do a bit more, but it is the first one, and I would really like to move on to the next one. So, I want to name it, as I said before, and mine is called Gembira. Now, the reason mine is called Gembira is because it means rejoice, very happy, big-hearted in Malay. And when I was overseas many years ago, I wanted to name my house, and I made a sign called Gembira out of terracotta, and I've never put it up. It's always just been in my studio, and I felt that it probably needed to go in my studio, but I still haven't put it on a board and actually got it, you know, on the entrance area. So I decided that I was going with welcome. You know, I had, you know, there was a few things going on. I was going welcome, and I had welcome in all different languages on there at one stage, but I decided that there was a very I needed to have, you know, the same as most times, I wanted to have different scripts inside. So going to my flip book and so forth, I have got out a few bits and pieces of different kinds of script and words and so forth. I am going to write Gembira with my ink, and I am going to just collage different kinds of papers that I have inside here. The other thing that I wanted to do was I wanted you to write down all the positive emotions, or you know, when you're experiencing making the book, what came up for you. You know, like I wrote down a little thing that is my, you know, my follow through to next month, you know, and it is to create, and I can hardly read it because I have now put gold over the top of it. So it was just a stream of thought, you know, and to create, and I also, before I read it, I also wrote it so there's no gaps. Okay, so it becomes just text, really, you know, not that anyone's going to read it because this is your personal space and your personal doorway, you know, journey. But it says, to create an experiment of happy, uplifting creativity, to be all in and decide what is good for me now and what needs to change. To have more contact with ones in this world I care about, to share, be grateful for all that I have. So the thing that stands out to me for next month, for February, the word that I like out of that is grateful. So grateful is kind of going to be my word that follows through from this one to February. Now I'm going to stick this down with all of the other bits and bobs in here. Somehow, it doesn't have to be readable, you know. As I said, there's no spaces, so it just looks like a bit of scripting, really. And I am going to use the ink and other pens to create different things in here. So I'm going to have a bit of a play, and I will come back when I have like stuck what I need to stick down in here to make it. I'm sure you all know how to collage, so You'll be in your own little world doing that. And then I'm coming back. I'm going to use the ink pen and I'm going to write Gambira somewhere on here. I'm also going to, when that's dry, come back again and do some ancient scripting, intuitive scripting in areas on my door. And once I've done that, there might be a final touch here and there with things, but then it will really be done. So I'll just glue that middle down and my words, and I shall be back. Alright, so I've packed up and just put everything back into one of the flip book that I keep all my textures and writings in, scripts, different scripts and so forth. It's getting quite full, as you can see. Okay, so I've glued all that down. So my next thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do some ink work. And now, you know, and if you've seen this, please scroll forward. I do practice my ink work. Now, this is just a piece of book that has acrylic paint on it. I would like to also do some on some tissue, no, not tissue, some wax paper, just to get my hand in. Alright, so I always do that before I go to what I'm actually doing, because, you know, I might do the inside actually first. Now on this I'm going to write Gambira, of course, because that is and I am going to, what is it, Gembira, Gembira, Gambira. Alright, that's enough black, I think, and then I will do the front. Okay, so I've closed it now, it's all dried inside. I am just going to put a small bit there and maybe one there, like so. Alright, I think I'll stop there. So that is my first door. And the following in February, which is going to be probably in a week, I will release the next one. But I will tell you now, the doorway is going to be country style. So completely different to this door. I probably will go with a very nice wooden country door in my mind. I have a sort of a blue thing happening. Well, what country that is, I have no idea at this point. And as I said, the word that I'm carrying forward from this month to next month is grateful. So I'll look at that next month and just have a look at the things that I'm actually grateful for within that door. So I look forward to seeing you back on the next challenge of in February with Country Style Door. Thank you so much for subscribing and liking and all of that, and take care.